books, two powerful, unapologetic titles. Journey to Renewal, a title that speaks to anyone who has ever needed to start again, to rebuild, to find themselves on the other side of something hard. And then, Yes, I'm divorced, so what? I love this title so much because it says everything without apology. It says, I went through something. I came out on the other side, and I refuse to be defined by it. Hula's books speak directly to women who have been through the fire and are still standing, still choosing themselves, and still moving forward. This is the kind of writing that makes someone feel seen at 2 a.m. when they think no one understands. Hula, thank you for your courage.
Hi there, welcome to the replay of our after hours discussions with professional coaches. Your exclusive complimentary Sunday session for all of our community around the world, where coaching minds unite with our people to create real world results. I am Adrian Cahill, your host and founder of the Motivate community, and more recently, Monday Morning Motivation. As a global trainer in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, coaching, and hypnosis, this weekly gathering brings some of my colleagues from trainings, my fellow students and coaches all together in one place where we can discuss, share, help change the world by delivering free, quality information that's here to help you transform.
To the Motivate community, what an honor. Every time I step into this space, I feel it. There's something about a room or a screen, in this case, full of people who refuse to stay silent, people who have something to say. And today I get to talk about exactly that. Today is about stories, your story, and what happens when you stop keeping it to yourself. The title of today's session is From Manuscript to Legacy. And I chose these words very deliberately because a manuscript is just the beginning. It's the raw, unpolished, sometimes terrifying step. But a legacy? That's when your story outlives the moment you wrote it. And that's what we built at Jen's Publication. Jen's Publication was born out of a very simple but powerful belief that every generation has a voice worth preserving. GENS stands for Global Entrepreneurs Networking Showcase because the stories we tell today become the inheritance of tomorrow. We are a global publishing house that works with first-time authors, seasoned writers, and everyone in between across continents to take their manuscript from a dream in a document to a published, distributed, celebrated look. But here's what makes us different. We don't just publish your book and send you on your way. We platform you. Every author who publishes with Jen's Publication gets their very own dedicated space on the Grace Gallery, our online store, and author showcase. Think of it as your author home. Your book is listed, your story is told, and readers from around the world can find you, buy your book, and connect with your messages. The Grace Gallery is not just a shop, it's a stage. And we make sure every author who walks through those doors gets to stand on it. My name is Rish Jigals. I'm an author, publisher, and multi-brand entrepreneur. And today I want to take you on a journey from manuscript to legacy. So whether you're joining us from South Africa, from China, Jamaica, Trinidad, Australia, or anywhere in between, welcome. Welcome to a room where stories become legacies. And I want you to know that by the end of today's session, you are going to leave with something. And whether that's clarity, courage, or a concrete next step towards your own book, today is for you. So let's begin. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Rish Jiggles. I'm mom to 6-year-old Lyell. And spoiler alert, he's also one of the authors on this virtual book tour. Yes, he's 6 years old and already an author, twice published. So if you've been waiting for the right time to write your book, Lyell says the time is now. I was born in South Africa, and today I'm building globally from China. In between those two places, there have been continents, cultures, businesses, heartbreaks, breakthroughs, and a whole lot of faith. I run All Beauty, tailored skin solutions for skin of color, a beauty brand rooted in confidence and self expression. I'm a China sourcing specialist, helping entrepreneurs and businesses source products directly from manufacturers. I'm a radio host and magazine publisher through Jen's Magazine. And I founded both the Grace Gallery and Jen's Publication, our global publishing house. But at the core of everything I do, every brand, every business, every project is one belief. Every person has a story worth telling, and mine started with a book. My book is called From Religion to Relationship, a true story of finding Jesus. And I want to read you just one line from the introduction because it says everything. I didn't leave anything out of anger. I wasn't trying to rebel or prove a point. I was simply searching quietly, deeply, for something more than rules. That was me. I grew up in a faith of duty, tradition, and ritual. There was beauty in it, but there was also, beneath all of that, was also fear, a weight, a feeling that I had to earn love and that I had to do everything right or else suffer the consequences. And one day I asked myself a question that changed my life forever. What if I never got it right? Could I still be loved? That question cracked something open in me. And that's when Jesus met me, not to tear me down from what came before, but to gently show me something deeper. He didn't force me out. He didn't shame me. He simply offered me rest. This book isn't about arguments. It's not about doctrine or debate. It's a testimony of a girl who didn't know she could be fully known and still loved. And I close every copy of this book with a prayer for the reader. Because I believe with everything in me that whoever picks up this book, it is not by accident. To God be the glory forever and ever. All right, so let's go next. So let me explain what a virtual book tour actually is, because I promise you it's not what most people think. It's not just about going live on social media. It's not just posting about your book online and hoping someone sees it. It's not a single interview or a one-day event. A virtual book tour is a fully coordinated multi-platform global campaign where your book is introduced to new audiences across different countries, different time zones, and different communities, all without you needing to board a single flight. Think, think about a traditional book tour. Authors travel city to city, country to country, bookstore signings, live interviews, speaking events. Glamorous, exciting, and also extremely expensive, exhausting, and completely out of reach for most first time authors. We said, what if we took everything that makes a traditional book tour powerful and brought it into the digital world? What if your book could reach Cape Town and Chicago and Sydney in the same week without you leaving your living room? And that's exactly what we built. For our authors, a virtual book tour through Activate Core and Jen's publication means radio and podcast features, your voice, your story, broadcast to establish, a warm audience already tuned in and ready to listen. Social media spotlights, coordinated posts, reels, and features amplifying your book to audiences that already trust voices sharing it. Magazine features. Through Jen's publication or Jen's magazine, our authors receive real editorial coverage, not a paid ad. A story, your story, beautifully told. Live global events, exactly like today. Virtual stages, real audience, real conversations, legacy moments. Author interviews, dedicated in depth conversations where you go beyond the book and share the why behind the words. And the Grace Gallery. Every author gets their book listed and featured on our online store. While you're speaking, sleeping, living your life, your book is available, discoverable, and selling. The result? Your book reaches readers in China, Australia, and the US and beyond from your living room. Now, I want to introduce to you some people who make this tour what it is. But before I do that, I want to tell you something about how this group came together. When we set out to build this virtual book tour, we weren't just looking for books. We were looking for stories that needed to be told. Stories that had been sitting in someone's heart, sometimes for years, waiting for the right platform, the right moment, the right push. And what you're about to see is the result of that search. 13 authors across 4 continents, different ages, different backgrounds, different genres, but united by one thing: the courage to say, my story matters. Our youngest author is 6-year-old. Our authors include pastors, doctors, entrepreneurs, and creatives. And every single one of their books is available right now on thegracegallery.shop. So without further ado, let's meet the authors. Okay, before I show you their faces, I want you to feel something first. 13 authors came to us with something precious, something they've been carrying for, well, some of them for years, some for decades. A story, a testimony, a message they knew the world needed to hear, but they didn't quite know how to get it out there. And the range of what they brought us is extraordinary. Faith, stories of encounters with God that will shake you to the core. Adventure, stories that will take your children on journeys to places their imaginations has never been. Healing, stories written through tears that will dry someone else's. Life experience, wisdom earned through living, now preserved forever in print. These are not just books. These are lives. These are testimonies. These are legacies being printed and preserved for generations to come, long after we're gone. These words will remain. Okay, so this book is for anyone who has ever felt like faith was a performance. Just 1 second. Yeah. It's for anyone who's ever wondered, is there more than this? And the answer is yes. And I wrote every word of this book to tell you so. Right. So Lael. Next is my son. Well, that's me, firstly. That's my book, From Religion to Relationship. And I say this with all humility. I wrote this book because I had to. Not because I wanted to be an author and not because I had a publishing plan, but because it was a story inside me that refused to stay silent. From Religion to Relationship is my testimony. It's the story of a girl who grew up doing everything right, following every rule, honoring every tradition, and still feeling like something was missing. And one day, quietly, unexpectedly, Jesus met me. Not in church, not in a sermon, but in the stillness of my own searching. And then we go to Lyell. Next, my son, Lyell Jiggle, 6 years old, and already a two-book author. Barbie and Lyell Island Explorers is actually based on a true story. It's a beautiful real life moment when Lyell met his cousin Barbie for the very first time on a family vacation in Phuket, Thailand. Two little boys, a stunning island, and the beginning of a friendship that became a book. There's something so pure about that. A child experiencing something magical and saying, I want to remember this forever. And now he has in print for the world to read. His second book, Layard's Big Dream Machine, a Mars adventure story, takes young readers on a fantasy adventure all the way to Mars. But here's what makes this one special. It's STEAM based, real science facts woven into the story. So children are learning about space, physics, and exploration while being completely swept up in adventure. Lyell is proof that you're never too young to have something worth saying, and that the best stories often come from the truest moments. Our third author is someone I have enormous respect for, Pastor Dr. Johann Boshoff. At 73 years old, Pastor Johann doesn't just bring one book to this tour, he brings three published works and a fourth currently in the hands of Jen's publication for publishing and worldwide distribution. His published titles includes Sunny's Adventure, the book, and Life in the Holy Spirit. Three works that span storytelling, theology, and spirit-led living. Each one a different facet of a man who walked deeply with God for decades. And his fourth manuscript, currently being prepared by our team at Jen's publication for global release. And we cannot wait to share that with the world. What moves me about Pastor Johann is that at 73, he's not slowing down. He's not looking back. He's still writing. He's creating, still saying, I have more to give. That is the spirit of Jen's publication. That is the spirit of this tour. Pastor Dr. Boshoff, we're deeply honored to carry your legacy into the world. Next, we have Dr. Tina Arnold, Skylar's Coloring and Activity Book, and The Priesthood of the Dance. And our fourth, well, she's very remarkable. Dr. Kino brings us not one, but two extraordinary books, and they couldn't be more different from each other, which tells you everything about the depth of this woman. Skylar's Coloring and Activity Book is a beautiful creative resource for children, joyful, engaging, and designed to spark imagination in young minds. And then The Priesthood of the Dance. a title that stopped me the moment I read it because it speaks to something sacred, something that many people have never considered. The idea that movement, rhythm, and dance can be an act of worship, a form of ministry, a priesthood. Dr. Kina, you have given us two gifts, and we are so proud to platform both of them. This tour doesn't stop there. Meet Sahar Cooper. Look at her. She just light up this room? Sahar brings us Lily Goes Fishing, a beautiful children's story that captures the magic of simple moments. Kind of stories that reminds both children and adults to slow down, be present, and find joy in the everyday. What I love about Sahar's books is the heart behind it. Children's literature has the power to shape how young minds see the world. And Lily's story does exactly that. It's warm, it's gentle, and it's the kind of book a child will ask to hear again and again. Sahar, you are proof that great stories come in all sizes, and we're so proud to have you on this tour. Next, we have Hula Cooper, Sahar's mom. Two books, two powerful, unapologetic titles. Journey to Renewal, a title that speaks to anyone who has ever needed to start again, to rebuild, to find themselves on the other side of something hard. And then, yes, I'm divorced, so what? I love this title so much because it says everything without apology. It says, I went through something. I came out on the other side, and I refuse to be defined by it. Hula's books speak directly to women who have been through the fire and are still standing, still choosing themselves, and still moving forward. This is the kind of writing that makes someone feel seen at 2 a.m. when they think no one understands. Hula, thank you for your courage. Next, we have Dr. Ruth Howland. She is a remarkable author of The Manifestation of Dreams. Now, that title alone stops you in your tracks because every single person watching this right now has dreams. Something they've been carrying, something they've been told is too big, too ambitious, too unlikely. Dr. Ruth Howey says, manifest it anyway. This book sits at the intersection of faith, mindset, and intentional living. It's a roadmap for turning what lives in your imagination into what lives into your reality. Dr. Ruth, your book is going to find exactly the people who need it the most, and we're honored to help it reach them. And rounding up this group is the fierce and fabulous Shelley Ann Patrick. Two books, and both titles tell you everything you need to know about this woman. The Thief That Stole My Time, because time is our most precious resource, and so many of us have given it away to the wrong people, the wrong situations, the wrong version of ourselves. And Shelley Ann names that thief. She helps you to take back your time and then fight back. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. This is a battle cry, actually. This is for every person who has ever been pushed too far, stayed too long, and is finally ready to stand up and say, no more. Shelley Ann Patrick writes for the fire, and her books will light something in you. So we have one more group of authors to introduce, and trust me, we've saved some incredible stories for last. Finally, rounding up this incredible lineup, Dear van Vieren with The Journey Simplified, 365 daily devotions. 365 days, 365 moments of pause, reflection, and intentional faith. This is not a book you read once and put down. This is a book you live with every single day of the year. What Diavad has created is a daily companion, a gentle, consistent voice that meets you every morning and says, "You're not alone in this journey. Let's walk together." In a world that moves faster than ever, Diavad invites us to slow down, to simplify, to find the sacred in the ordinary every single day. Diavad, 365 days of your wisdom is a gift. Thank you. Then we have Jennifer Williams, Growing God's Way, Book 2. This is a continuation of a journey that clearly has more to say. Because when God is in it, story never really ends. This is a woman who walks her walk and who talks her talk, who builds community, platforms others, and still finds time to write. Jennifer, we honor you today on both sides of the stage. Then we have Prince Ramsey with The Wounded Soldier. That title, those three words carry so much weight because every single person watching this right now has been wounded by something: a relationship, a loss, a betrayal, a season that left marks. Prince Ramsey writes for those who are still standing, but carrying wounds they haven't yet shown the world. This book says your wounds do not disqualify you. They are part of your story, and your story is worth telling. Prince, thank you so much for your vulnerability and your courage. The Wounded Soldier is going to find exactly the people who need it. Then we have Gurmehar Singh with Letters from a Human. Letters from a human. Two humans. What does that mean to be a human? There is something beautifully simple and profoundly deep about that concept. In a world of noise, algorithms, and curated perfection, Gumehara writes letters, real, honest, human letters about life, love, struggle, and what connects us all beneath the surface. This book is for anyone who has ever felt misunderstood, anyone who has ever wanted to say something real but didn't know how. Kumeher says it beautifully for all of us. Then we have Apostle Dr. Samuel Soha. How could we forget you? Two books, two titles that stop you in your tracks. First one is Unveiling the Mysteries of God's Silence for every person who has ever prayed and heard nothing. Who has ever wondered, where are you, God? Dr. Soha doesn't just shy away from that question. He walks straight into it and brings you on the other side. Then we have Winning the Battles of the End Times. Bold, prophetic, and urgently needed for a moment like this in history. Apostle Soha has ministered across continents, led organizations across Brazil, Ghana, China, and Canada, and holds 2 doctoral degrees. And yet he writes with the heart of a shepherd, someone who genuinely cares whether you make it through. Dr. Soha, your books are going to find exactly the people who need them the most. We are honored to have you on this tour. 13 authors, 4 continents, 1 global platform. And I'm so honored, so deeply honored to stand alongside every single one of them. Now let me show you where all of their stories live. So this map tells you everything you need to know about why we do this virtually. Look at where our authors are. South Africa, China, Australia, the United States, and our readers are everywhere. Think about what a traditional book tour would look like for this group. You'd need flights from Johannesburg to Shanghai, from Sydney to New York, from Cape Town to Chicago. The flights alone would cost more than most publishing budgets. The logistics would take months to coordinate, and the carbon footprint, don't even get me started. But a virtual book tour, it collapses distance. It removes borders. It means a reader sitting in Johannesburg can discover a book written by an author in Shanghai and feel like that story was written for them, in their language, for their moment, for their life. A reader in Trinidad can find Shelley and Patrick's Fight Back, Enough is Enough, at midnight when they need it most. A child in Australia can read Lyell's Island Explorers and dream of Phuket. A leader in the USA can open Dearfal's devotion every morning and feel less alone. No flights, no borders, no limits. That is the power of what we've built. 13 authors, 4 continents, one global platform. And it all lives in one place, the Grace Gallery. So here they are, the books behind the voices. Look at them. Really, look at them. Each one of these covers represent months, sometimes years of someone's life. Late nights, early mornings, moments of doubt that were almost stopping them, moments of breakthroughs where they couldn't stop. Every single cover you see on the screen is a result of someone making a decision. A brave, sometimes terrifying decision to say, my story is worth sharing. Look at that range. A child's adventure in Phuket, a soldier's wounds, a daily devotion for 365 mornings, letters written to humanity, a priesthood expressed through dance, God's silence, finally given a voice, a journey simplified, a thief named, a dream manifested, a divorced reclaimed, a fish caught, a relationship found. From children's books that will shape how the next generation sees the world, to faith journeys that will shake adults to their core. From personal testimonies written through tears, to life adventures that will make you laugh out loud. Every genre, every voice, every story has a place at Jen's publication. These are not just products, these are people. These are lives, bound, printed, and placed into the hands of strangers who will be changed by them. And every single one of these books is available right now today at thegracegallery.shop. And while we're here together in this room, someone somewhere in this world could be discovering one of these books for the very first time. Clicking, reading the description and feeling something stir. That is why we do this. That is why the virtual book tour exists. That is why Jen's publication exists. To make sure that no story, no matter where it's written, no matter who wrote it, ever goes unread. Okay, here's more of the covers of the authors. And behind every book, a face, a person, a story. Look at these authors. Different ages, different backgrounds, different countries, different genres, different journeys, but united by one decision. The decision to keep their story, the decision to stop keeping their stories to themselves. Look at Lyell, 6 years old, standing there in his little suit like the author he absolutely is. Look at Pastor Dr. Johan at 73, still writing, still publishing, saying, I have more to give. Look at Prince Ramsey, holding the wounded soldier, a man who turned his wounds into words. And Hula Cooper, holding, yes, I'm divorced, so what? Unapologetic, powerful, and free. Look at Sahar, 9 years old, our youngest girl author. Arms crossed, confident, ready to take on the world. And look at me, holding the book that started all of this, from religion to relationship. The book I almost didn't write. The book that became the foundation of everything you see here today. I am so honored, so deeply honored to walk this journey with each and every one of these authors. But wait, there's more. Theodor van Vieren, the man who will meet you every single morning for 365 days and remind you that your journey is worth it. Dr. Kina Arnold, radiant, powerful, and holding the priesthood of the dance like the gift it truly is. A woman who moves in more ways than one. Dr. Ruth Howlett, holding the manifestation of dreams and looking every bit like a woman who has manifested everything she set her mind to. A role model in every sense of the word. Apostle Dr. Samuel Soha, 2 books, a few continents of wisdom, and a message that will meet you exactly where you are. Jennifer Williams, warm, generous, community driven, and an author in her own right. Shelly Ann, holding the thief that stole my time. And I love this photo because she looks like a woman who has taken every single minute back. Fierce, focused, and free. And Gurmeher Singh, that is from a human, quietly powerful. A young woman with so much to say and the courage to say it beautifully. 13 authors, every single one of them said yes to their story, to their voice, and to the world. And now, let me show you where all of this lives. Here's our roadmap. June through to August 2026, 3 months, 3 distinct phases. For June, our launch, authors' introductions, first features, and the beginning of a global conversation, including today's event with the Motivate community. For July, we've got our Momentum Month, radio features, podcast appearances, and our social media campaign at full force. More interviews have been added since we first launched this tour, because when the world gets to hear great stories, it wants more. August, our grand finale, author interviews, and the launch of Jen's Magazine Volume 5, where many of our authors will be featured in print for the very first time. 13 authors, 4 continents, 1 mission. And we're right in the middle of it. Right now, together. Now let me show you what this tour actually looks like in action. This is not a concept. This is not a plan. This is already happening. Every author you see on the schedule has been or is about to be interviewed, featured, and amplified across our global platforms. Look at the dates. For June, we hit the ground running. Grace Jiegels on the 8th, 15th, and 30th. Jennifer Williams on the 18th. Sahar and Hula on the 19th. Kina Arnold on the 20th and 24th. Dr. Ruth, 22nd. Pastor Johan on the 23rd. Deervald on the 24th. Prince Ramsey and Shelly Ann on the 25th. That is 10 authors featured in June alone. For July, we keep the momentum going with me on the 7th, 12th, and 18th, Layal on the 18th, Pastor Johan on the 8th, Gurmeher Singh on the 13th, which is tomorrow. Heads up, it's her birthday. Deerford on the 18th, and for August, our grand finale, the closing interviews, the Gens Magazine Volume 5 launch, the celebration of everything we brought together over these 3 months. And I also want to highlight something. Look at Jennifer's listings. 3 books. Growing God's Ways, 1 and 2, Love Me, Don't Hurt Me, and Crafting Poetic Stories. Jennifer came into this tour with her whole library, and we are here for every single page. And Shelley-Ann, The Thief That Stole My Time, Broken into Beautiful. That subtitle, Broken into Beautiful. If that doesn't stop you in your tracks, I don't know what will. This is what a virtual book tour looks like when it's done with intention, coordination, and love. 13 authors, again, dozens of interviews, one global mission. Now I want to take a moment to acknowledge the incredible partnership that made this tour possible. Gens Publication and Activate Core. 2 organizations, 2 missions, 1 shared heartbeat, limitless impact. Activate Core, led by the remarkable Jennifer Ridgetts, has been a platform that amplifies voices and builds communities, creates spaces for people to step into their purpose. And when our 2 visions met, something powerful was born. This virtual book tour is not just a Gens Publication project. It's a collaboration, a partnership built on trust, shared values, and a genuine belief that stories change lives. Jennifer, thank you for saying yes. Thank you for opening this platform to our authors. And thank you for believing in this vision before it was fully visible. Together, we're proving that when purpose-driven people come together, the impact is always greater than the sum of its parts. How to work with us. So if what you've heard today has stirred something in you, let me tell you how you can walk this journey with us. At Gens Publication, we offer 3 ways to work with us. Package 1, the virtual book tour. First, join us on a future Gens Publication or Gens virtual book tour. And this is where your book gets a global stage. We handle everything. Your posters, your social media promotion across all platforms, your live interviews, your magazine feature, and your radio spotlight. You just show up and tell your story, and we'll do the rest. Your book, your voice, a worldwide audience. Package 2, get featured in the Gens magazine. So this is not just a digital magazine. This is a full editorial feature. Your story, your book, your photo, published in a premium magazine that goes out to readers across continents. Digital and hard copy delivered to your door. A collector's edition that will exist forever. Watch this space. Package 3, the full publishing package. This is for those who have a manuscript sitting on your desk right now. We offer full publishing package, from manuscript to finished book. We walk with you every step of the way. Editing, design, cover creation, global distribution, marketing, social media, magazine feature, virtual book tour, and everything you need to go from author to published global voice under one roof, with one team who genuinely cares about your story. Your story, your legacy. Let's build it together. So to find out more, DM us at the Grace Gallery, info@thegracegallery.shop, or visit thegracegallery.shop. We're also on WeChat and WhatsApp, and the details are on your screen. And before we close, I have one more very special announcement to make. Our August 2026 edition of Jen's magazine is launching right in the middle of this book tour. And this edition, it's dedicated entirely to our audience and their stories, the authors specifically. 13 Voices, one magazine, a collector's edition that would last forever. That is Resh and Lyall Jiggles on the cover. And inside those pages are the stories of every author you've met today, in print, in your hands, forever. If you want your story in the next edition, you know where to find us. DM us, email us, WhatsApp us, WeChat us. We're right here. And we would love to tell your story to the world. But don't just take my word for it. These are real people whose stories are now reaching real readers. People who needed exactly what that book, who needed that book exactly at that moment. And that's not marketing. That's ministry. That's legacy. Let's see. We have, wow, thank you for this opportunity. Would be honored to join you. It's from Dear Bart. My daughter also has a published book. I would like to know if you were doing children's interviews also. That's from Lady Positive, who is actually Hula Cooper. Can I introduce another author from Trinidad Tobago? That's from Pastor Johan. I definitely love to join you, and I'm so grateful. From Shelly Ann Patrick. So before I open up for questions, I want to say something from my heart. Every single person watching today, you have a story. And I want to tell you, it's ready. You are ready. Jen's publication exists for you, and this tour exists for you. If today has stirred something in you, DM us, email us, or visit us. The information is on your screen, and let's talk.
Boom! You made it here! Good on you. Make sure you click the subscribe button below and check out the playlist at the end. If you'd like to come along to our Sunday sessions where we host a live, free Q&A for our students and members, you're welcome. I'll see you there.